What you think, Fred? All right.
Fred.
Like, dude, you're an idiot.
I'm doing very well, Jen. Is it just going to be me and you, or Eli and Zach going to pop in?
Yeah, they'll talk every once in a while.
Every now and then we'll kind of
He was already here right away.
It kind of, well, we're used to you attacking us, so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Look at
Let's just put it this way. Who do you see as the quarterback week 1 for the Green Bay Packers?
I see.
Gentlemen, welcome to Open Book. Oh, I thought I was muted. Ladies and gentlemen, Open Book, you are watching live. I am here with Jen. You know Jen, obviously. She's on the show every single week. We are going to be operating without Eli for very important reasons, which I'm assuming everybody will find out what those reasons are eventually, unless, everything went south. But, I'm not going to speak that into existence.
Yikes.
Jen, how are you doing?
I'm good. First week back at work after a long 10-day break, so I'm exhausted, but Packers are the number 1 seed, beating Vikings out of playoff contention as well, so life is good.
Fantastic. It sounds good.
I've even got my Mike Florio mug to celebrate.
Can you bring that up again? Can I see what the hell that is? Exactly. Okay.
It's the baby mug.
Look,
that Dakota and
personally, I wouldn't sip out of a mug that has Mike Florio's face on it, but that's just me.
It's just his tears.
I mean, I don't know. You're into that. I mean,
don't make
Ben,
it weird. Come on.
We'll get to whatever bone you have to pick with us in a minute. Okay. Oh, okay. Hey, hold on. Okay, I'm getting flamed here. Andrew, can you bring yourself in, because I'm not logged in to StreamYard? So can you bring yourself into the show really quick?
Yes.
Okay, give me 1 second to refresh. I'll be right back, and then I'm gonna.
You're gonna have a bone to pick. You've got a bone.
Yeah,
to pick?
I'm gonna roast Ben over an open fire. Be right back.
Oh boy. Oh.
Well, Andrew, how have you been? Well, catch up with you in Zach's absence.
I'd be a little bit better if I didn't lose to Eli in the fantasy league.
Did he send a video?
I don't see one.
Okay, good.
So yes, exactly. Chris, thank you.
Yeah, we were all Team Andrew. I think we made that very obvious.
I was so upset because once again, Amon-Ra St. Brown makes me look like an absolute genius. Mm-hmm. And it just went to waste because, thankfully the Packers made Dalvin Cook look like absolutely nothing.
He didn't have a 40-point week like when you played me.
Yeah, so he let me down, and Michael Pittman Jr., but Michael Pittman's kind of one of those up and down, 1 week he'll go off, another week he won't. What really screwed me was I thought picking Calvin Ridley as my first receiver was like, oh, I'm smart. No, I was not smart. That was awful, actually. So, but I'll take second, but it just sucks that it was losing to Eli. That
right, like
is the reason why
Eli's like second. The worst person anybody could have lost to. I think.
Yeah,
Zach,
I was
no,
not
like
thrilled.
Eli is the worst person
thrilled.
that could have won this entire league.
What are you talking shit?
About Eli.
About Eli.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Carry
about
on.
How he's the last person anybody wanted to see win our league.
Literally, that is like. That was like
I don't know. I think that title still goes to Zach.
Wow, Chris just like ruined my whole night. But anyways,
what is?
Yeah, that was like the worst possible scenario because he is never ever gonna shut up about it.
No, so, at least he's not here. So next week we can be like, well, you missed your opportunity. Fantasy's over. Like, we're not discussing. Maybe we should bring Tom back on to like, so he can give his grievances.
I need to look. I have my reasons, by the way, for going on certain shows and not listing particular things in my bio. Okay, so I will leave it at that, Ben.
Yeah, okay, first of all, I also did call you out for that.
Yeah, Jen Jen already got on my ass for that. And so did Eli, because, when one of them chimes in, the other has to chime in, and all of a sudden I'm getting sworn, like I'm getting ripped limb from limb. But you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah, we just don't matter enough to be in Zach's prestigious bio. It's fine.
Oh, give it a rest, lady. For the love of God, just give it a rest.
Hey, somebody else brought it up, so now I get a chance to roast you here live.
Yeah, whatever. But Ben he is a Game On Wisconsin loyalist. He has been here since day one. That was like our original like OG top supporter. And you know what? We love you for that.
Okay, I was
Shout
here
out Ben,
too. I
real
used to be a
MVP.
fan too, but whatever. Never the
Yeah,
top,
but
I guess.
you're not a fan anymore. You're on the show. You're part of the show now. You are
Yeah.
the show.
I'm just saying.
In fact, Andrew, myself, and Eli, we could all drop dead, and you can run this show yourself, and it would be totally fine. In fact, it would probably be better.
No thanks. Please don't do that. Don't all leave me.
I have an idea.
Nobody wants to watch me talk to myself for an hour.
I have an idea. Andrew and I will leave this StreamYard, and we will just have you right here up on the screen.
It's happened before. When your Wi-Fi cuts out, I have already been stuck alone.
That's never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. Andrew, how are you doing?
Well, I told Jen before you came back, I said I'd doing all right, but I'd be doing a hell of a lot better if, I had this great plan of, if I beat Eli, I've got the perfect plan. Since we knew he wasn't going to be here, I was going to full blown like Shannon Sharp, cigar in the mouth, drink in hand, just talk my shit, and I can't do
Andrew,
that.
the thing is you have all these really good plans for when you win, and then you don't win.
Yeah,
you never
exactly.
Get to do that.
And that's what I told myself. I was like, all right, I need to not get ahead of myself, because I was like, watch, I'm not going to win, and I'm not going to be able to do any of this. And that's exactly what happened. And I kept having this master plan of, $300. What can I do with that $300? And I stopped myself. I was like, nope, I'm not coming up with any ideas, because that's when my dreams are going to get crushed. So, that's what happened.
You're the
Thanks
first
to
user,
Najee
though,
Harris.
it's okay.
Screw Najee Harris for that.
You looked so far ahead into the future that you didn't take into account your opponent in the present, which is what the Packers are trying not to do by playing the Lions in the season finale. They're going to be playing all their starters. Tell me that was a good segue.
I would say Zach the master of segues. I was just going to say.
They're trying not to look too far ahead into the future, and resting their starters to the playoffs. They're going to treat this, as Matt LaFleur said, as if it is any regular season game. They're going there into Detroit to win a football game. Now, it's like a topic of conversation whether or not they should play their starters. I mean, it doesn't matter what we think or what anybody else on Twitter thinks. They're going to do it regardless. It's just a question of how long they're going to play those starters. A quarter, 2 quarters, treat it like a preseason game. But I want to know where you guys kind of fall on this, because it's a tricky thing to navigate. You rest your guys, and they, the Packers, who have the number 1 seed now, they have 3 weeks to just chill, do nothing, and everybody has PTSD of 2011. Or you play your guys and you risk injury. Where do you guys fall on that?
See, I think just the way that the injuries have been going this year, it makes me really nervous to play them a ton. Like, I don't want to see any more than a half from these guys, just because like some positions are running so thin, and not only with injury, but with the COVID stuff. And there's just so much to risk, where I would rather them maybe start a little bit slower because they rested guys in that first game back in the playoffs. Like, if they're a good enough team, it shouldn't be a problem, and you should be able to rest these guys. So I would rather not see Rodgers get his toe stepped on or some fluke thing happen. We're really thin on linemen right now. So there's just all those risks. I mean, not that they can sit linemen at this point. They've got nobody left, so they're going to have to play. But there's just so many factors that you don't want to lose guys. And I think Rodgers being the biggest one, especially with his toe. And I mean, he hadn't been practicing for a while and he was still playing fine. So I don't know. I just think that he's playing on a level that we can trust, that if he doesn't play a lot, he should be able to still come out and execute. And this team has only gotten better, and they've been able to work through obstacles before. So I don't want to see him starting a lot. I don't want to risk anything. I would rather them, be a little bit more cautious and then focus on the playoff game down the road.
Yeah, it's such a weird balancing act of what's too much and what's, what's the right thing. I agree here. I would Joe here. I do think give them a quarter depending on the player, or let them play the whole first half. Because again, this game doesn't really mean anything at this point. They have the 1 seed locked up. It doesn't fucking matter if they win or lose. But I do think it's important to give them a little bit of time because, and Eli's mentioned it multiple times on Twitter, 2011, I sent shiver down my spine and just bad memories that I don't want to think of. But I think they should play a little bit. There is the worry of injuries. Obviously, there's been so many guys who are out. Hopefully some that are returning soon. I'm sure we'll get to a couple of them who have returned to practice, potentially plans for some to play. Depending on how Matt LaFleur goes about it. But I know he did say that obviously he wants some of those guys to play. Aaron said he wants to play. He said, I know in his press conference after the game Sunday, he mentioned that he hoped or expected that Devontae would play a little bit. So I do think it's the right call to have them play a little bit. But obviously they're not going to play the whole game. I think that's the whole thing. Oh, for Christ's sake.
You're in place of Eli today, so Chris gets to pick on you instead of Eli.
Yeah.
Thank God that skipped over me. No, I think you're kind of, it's going to be something that they're going to play by ear. I feel like, like you said, you get to the end of that first quarter, kind of evaluate where you at, see who you can take out, who you can throw in. I'm team play them the entire freaking game. Treat it as if it is any game. Like you're still in the playoff hunt and you have something to play for. I think that kind of mentality going into the playoffs, going into
I think we both saw it at the same time, and
we did. I saw you kind of that shit-eating grin on your face, and I was like, "What could he possibly be laughing at?" And then, there you go. Yeah, if you go into January with this game in mind, and then obviously the playoffs down the road, kind of on the horizon, then you have that mentality, of like you're not stepping off the gas. You're not getting kind of complacent in your approach. And look, necessarily, I don't think that would happen. I don't think they'll get complacent, but I just, like we've mentioned multiple times, the 2011. I keep going back to that year. They're 15-1. They're only lost in Kansas City. They have that. Well, Aaron Rodgers is among the many players who have a couple weeks off. They go into that Giants game and they get the absolute shit smacked out of them. I don't personally want a repeat of that because this feels like if it is the last dance, if this is it for the Packers and Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, then you don't play around. And the injuries have been something that they've been forced to navigate all season. Every team has been forced to navigate it. But I mean, the Packers specifically, they've lost guys. They've had guys rotating in and out all year. And they've overcome it every single time. The mentality of this team is that it's the next man up, and they're overcoming all of these roadblocks that they're coming into. And I think they'll continue to do that, even going into the playoffs, regardless of what happens in this week 18? This week 18 game. I'm still getting used to the stupid schedule. Then I think they'll still embrace that whole ideology. I think they'll be fine. And you need to play your guys and get them those reps. And it's also going to be important because David Bakhtiari might play. This might be his first time back. And you want him playing with a line that is put together, in place, that has been the starting five for the last few weeks now. Like they finally have like a set unit. And, and who knows, Jair Alexander might even play if he's activated off the COVID list. I mean, David Bakhtiari practiced today on Wednesday. He'll probably continue to practice tomorrow and Friday. Jair Alexander, he probably would have practiced today, I'm assuming, since he's been practicing for the last couple of weeks since being activated off of IR. So, we don't know who's going to be taking snaps in this game, but I mean, treat it as like an opportunity to kind of get yourself warmed up for the playoffs.
See, and that's, I like to play devil's advocate. Like, I think one thing, but I also try and see all sides. And that's an interesting point because I haven't really talked to anybody who's had that, like, let's play them the entire game mentality, which is, it's interesting, but I also understand because I know players have talked about, bye weeks can throw off momentum. So if you don't play them, it's almost like, 3 weeks without playing and you don't want to lose any of that. But I also do think, maybe they'll just get up early enough where they won't have to play anyways. That'd be nice because I do think that this is a game that is important for Jordan Love to take some snaps. I think that it's important for him going forward, whether it's with the Packers or somebody else. I think that this is a game that you can, give him a lot of snaps just because it's not a must-win situation. So I think it'd be a good opportunity for him. And I think it's something that he's earned at this point. So that's something that I'd like to see, which is another reason, injuries aside, in fear of something happening to Rodgers. I think that this is an opportunity that they've been gifted and they've earned so that they can. Okay, green beans are disgusting. I'm in the middle of talking, Kyle. Why would you throw that into the chat? Anybody
we have moved on
who-
from
I don't,
Arby's slander to green bean slander.
Don't let Kyle throw off the mojo here. Okay.
Well, who put it up on the screen when I'm in the middle of talking? That's whoever. Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
Don't look at me.
I'm trying to
I
make a
didn't-
point here, and
I've got beer
throwing
in
green
hand.
beans up on the screen. Yeah, like who looks at green beans and like, oh no, and is like, that looks good. No.
Yeah, green beans are
disgusting.
kind of gross. I mean, if you got the person that eats spoonfuls of mayonnaise with their bare hands out of the jar, calling green beans disgusting, and she's probably right. So
Okay, yeah, that's
I'm
what
on
I
your
do.
side.
I come home from work and I have a nice jar of mayonnaise as a snack, get show prepped and ready to go.
I believe it. Look, I'm on your side here. I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. See, it's nice. We agree on Arby's and green beans, so we can team up against Kyle and Riley if he shows up, because Riley was slandering me as well on Twitter. I
Right.
didn't realize green beans were such a hot topic in my Twitter world. But
Riley won't show up. He's unemployed, probably sleeping right now.
oh,
Oh, and he's also bald.
good to know.
Do you dunk your Oreos in mayonnaise?
I mean,
Jen?
isn't that what they're? I take out the cream and I put mayonnaise in the cookie.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough out of you. Okay. Anyways, we're cutting your mic. We're getting her out of here.
No, let me.
All right.
I'm kidding. If anybody thinks I'm being serious, I'm
no,
kidding.
it's too late. No. You dug your grave now. It's
People
over.
probably think I'm
Done.
sick
You're
enough that I
done.
would
Dig
actually
yourself
do it.
out now.
No,
All right,
people are
let's get
gonna
back to
think
the-
that I'm gross and like I actually do that. Like, come on now.
Let's
Let's get back to Packers talk
the
and
important
not,
stuff. Yeah. Let's get back
not
to the
open
Packers stuff.
mayonnaise. We're open book on open mayonnaise.
Okay, you're just making this worse, Andrew.
Yeah,
Yeah, if we're talking about green beans.
I know.
And
Okay.
disgusting.
Well, we could talk about someone who probably eats a lot of green beans because they're good for protein. AJ Dillon.
Strong.
Was that good? Was that good a segue? Was that all right?
Yeah, it was
That's all right. It was
good enough.
All right, whatever. AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones this past weekend, they were the first pair of running backs since 1980 to top 1,000 scrimmage yards each, in a single season. So it's tough to. Andrew, did you just put that up? That was impressive.
Yeah.
That was fast.
It's amazing. He's doing his job.
Be nice, okay?
No, I meant that sounded so much meaner than I intended.
The Packs are going into the playoffs with this remarkable running back tandem. These guys that can do it all. They can catch. They can take it out of the backfield. They're doing, and there was a lot of pony package against the Vikings. 2 running backs in the backfield, and that was something that, something that we've kind of seen variations of throughout the season here and there, not really on a consistent basis. But I mean, the matchup clearly favored having both running backs in the field, and I mean, it worked out. They're going into a time of year where it is going to continue to get cold. It is probably going to be right around the same temperature as it was this past weekend against the Vikings, where it felt like it was in like the low singles. What was it, like 2? It felt like 2 degrees, but it was like 10, something like
think
that.
it was
And what was wild enough is they were expecting
like
it to be
0.
colder. They were expecting it to feel a lot colder with the wind chill. I saw the Packers publish something about that Packers Vikings game had the potential to be the coldest game for that matchup like ever, and it didn't quite get there, but it was still pretty damn cold.
Yeah, and it's like amplified when you have this 247-pound running back repeatedly slamming into you, and you are making an attempt to tackle him, and it's just not working no matter what the hell you do. I mean, this guy, I think it was his second touchdown of the night. He literally ran directly. What?
I'm sorry. I gotta put the comments away. I keep reading the comments.
Every time I see you giggling, I'm
yeah,
like,
I know.
What kind of
I
shit
know.
are they
I'm
saying in the
horrible.
comments?
I'm horrible.
Anyways, yeah, they're going into a time of year now. They have the number 1 seed locked up. The playoffs are going to run through Lambeau Field. I'm not looking at the goddamn comments. You know,
Hey,
I'm going
not
to the private chat. All right, I'm getting out of here. God, a bunch of animals in here, man. Do you guys think what's your spin on how this are the Packers going to ride their ground game to the Super Bowl? I mean, is that like the best kind of avenue for them right now?
I think that depends. There's as of late, the line is protected a lot better in the run. I feel like there's been numerous games where that seemed to be the issue with getting the running game going was the offensive line, and primarily guys like Big Dirt. He was, there's been some games where he's struggled, but as of late they've played pretty well. And also I think Aaron Jones has been really heating up, which I think is very important. And I think that's another player that I think is important to still play on Sunday. He's been gaining momentum. Let's let him keep it going a little bit here into the playoffs. But yeah, I do think it's very important. But I also think it's just as equally important to emphasize them in the passing game, because both of them are number 2 and number 4 in receptions on the team. So they can do it in all aspects of the offense. So it's just a matter of keeping them involved, no matter how you keep them involved. They both are excellent pass catchers. They're both great runners. And so again, they've got excellent talent. They're excellent backs. So it's important to keep, they want to have balance. They always stress we want to have balance. Well, some of those games, there hasn't quite been that balance. Maybe in the play calling, there's the balance, but not in terms of success. We kind of saw that in the Ravens game where it seemed like they really wanted to run the ball that second half. And that's where the 3 and outs started to happen. And,
It wasn't working.
Yeah, it just wasn't working. So it's important to have the balance, but it's also just important to ride what's working. And for AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, that's kind of been both running the ball and catching the ball. So to me, it's just kind of go with whatever's working. I guess that should be my answer.
The balance and kind of just the options is the most important thing. I think, just in the running duo, Dillon and Jones are 2 very different backs. So depending on maybe who's having the better day, like they provide options on their own, whether it's running or receiving, but also they provide really good balance for the offense as a whole, where, maybe it's not a run game, it's a pass game. And you have guys like Devontae and MVS and Lazard. And if that's not working, you have guys like Jones and Dillon you can rely on. So this offense just has such good balance with the talent that it makes them a huge threat. And seeing guys like them just, put up numbers like this, it's telling as to the success that they're having behind like a second, third string offensive line. And, AJ Dillon just has this relentless mentality we saw, especially against Minnesota. That's how he got his touchdowns, just, pile driving his way into the end zone. And Jones, he's a slippery running back, and he can also get involved in the pass catching game. So these guys just offer so much, and it makes it that much harder to stop this offense.
Yeah, and I think too, they're going to be getting David Bakhtiari. You guys both mentioned the offensive line, which obviously is important. They're going to be getting David Bakhtiari back, hopefully, fingers crossed. And Josh Myers, we haven't mentioned him yet. He also practiced today. They're starting second-round rookie center who looked really good in the first 5-6 games. And he had that knee injury. He had surgery. Today was his first day back. It opened up his window, the 21-day window. So the latest he can return, the earliest he can latest. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Latest he can return is January 26th, which will be 4 days before the NFC Championship game. So maybe they play him, maybe they don't. He can return at any point. It just depends what he looks like, obviously. But they're going to have guys like Josh Nijman, who has been holding down the fort at left tackle valiantly. He's been fantastic. And then you have Lucas Patrick, who's been at center. He's been tremendous in pass protection. Struggled a little bit in the running game, which, people in my mentions will continue to insist that they drill into my head, but I'm aware. So everybody knows that I am aware. So assuming that Bakhtiari and Myers do come back, you have phenomenal depth on that offensive line between David Bakhtiari, Josh Nijman, John Runyon, and Royce Newman. I don't think are going anywhere, but yeah, Lucas Patrick, Josh Myers, and then Dennis Kelly at right tackle. And there's a chance that they're going to get Billy Turner back as well from his knee injury he suffered against Chicago earlier last month. So I mean, you're going to get all these pieces back. What do you think the offensive line looks like with, let's say the Packers just won in the divisional round. I don't mean to look too far ahead and, pulling Andrew. Let's look a little into the future. Divisional round weekend is over. NFC Championship game is right there on the horizon. What does this offensive line look like, assuming everybody's healthy? Because you're going to be throwing guys who haven't played pretty much for most of the year back into the lineup. So what would you guys kind of do?
So that, like, the idea, like, you want your best guys out there, but it also just, makes you a little bit nervous because they haven't been playing. So, you kind of lose that chemistry and the connection a little bit. But, David Bakhtiari is a guy that you can plug in at any time, and he just makes that line 100% better. So if he's available, you want to play him. Myers would be a little bit more interesting to see go in there just because, it is the center and that's an important game. And for him and Rodgers, who have not been taking those snaps together all year, you don't want to mess that up too much. So it would definitely, cause a lot of controversy. And, if it works, that's great. And if you plug him in and things are going south, it causes a whole other conversation. So there's just a lot of different puzzle pieces. I think David Bakhtiari is a guy that you definitely want to plug in. But Josh Myers just being so young and not having as much experience, you kind of question, like, okay, Lucas Patrick has been doing just fine. Do you leave him in? Because things have been going smoothly. So, yeah, it definitely poses the question. And also, just while we're on the topic of offensive line, I was going to ask you, Zach, the Dennis Kelly thing. He's on the COVID reserve, correct? Or was he?
I think they activated him.
He okay, because that was going to be my next question, is what they're going to do versus Detroit if he was not activated.
Yeah,
but I haven't been paying attention to it.
Yeah, he tested out, so you can test out of those 5 days, and that's right. I think that's what happened with him.
Oh yeah, I guess they did somebody change, else. Like, all I don't
remember.
Darnell Savage.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was Darnell Savage, Dennis Kelly, and they tested out yesterday, I think. So.
Oh yeah, because they switched down to 5 days, correct?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
So then that brings up that
whole thing.
That's an interesting hypothetical. What would you do if he didn't test out and they had to start, let's say he got COVID.
Ben Braden.
You can say Ben Braden. I'll tell you what, I'll take Josh Nijman, move him out to right tackle, put Ben Braden in at left tackle. If that was like the scenario that we had to deal with.
Well, because then you could, get Josh familiar with right tackle. So when Bakhtiari comes back, Josh is familiar with that right side.
He's still
if
he stays in the lineup.
But then if you have Braden in at, protecting the blind side, do you want Rodgers taking as many snaps as he would? As you said, he'd play the whole game. See, look at all these questions that you can, these are questions. Matt LaFleur is going to have fun figuring that out. Good thing these are hypotheticals, but
the fact that we can even have this conversation though is like a testament to Adam Stenavich, Luke Butkus, that whole offensive line room, the players. Like the fact that we can entertain this many combinations, guys going over here, not to pull like a Dennis Rodman or anything, but click, boom, click over here, boom, I'm right here.
An offensive line, the fact that, number 1 seed, get the bye without David Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins on your line and your rookie starting center, huge testament to them.
I completely agree. I'm sorry. Sam's a funny guy. Okay, before we kind of unless Andrew, did you have anything to add?
No, I mean, I pretty much just agreed with what Jen said. I saw someone, I think, comment on one of Eli's posts, the whole, the year that Chad Clifton missed most of the year and he came back in the playoffs and he didn't look good. But I kind of, my response to that is, let them play. If they want to play, let them play. And if they start to stink, well, guess what? You throw back the other guys in. And the point that you made, Zach, about the fact that we're even able to have this conversation about, they can move the puzzle pieces around and it could still fit and work, it is just absolutely insane. There's not many other teams in the league who can say that. There's so many teams that struggle with offensive line, and
like their starting offensive line.
Yeah, exactly.
Is horrible.
Yeah. And even like one team that like really comes to mind for me, even now, like they made strides to improve their line, but even like someone like the Chargers, they got Corey Linsley, they drafted Rashawn Slater, and then they got hurt. And guess what? They can't protect worth shit anymore because they get hurt. And the Packers, they're down so many great players. I mean, even Josh Myers looked like he potentially could have been, we could have argued him for the Pro Bowl if he would have kept playing and he wasn't hurt. And so it's really great that, we're able to watch, and Aaron is still being pretty well protected, because I thought the final nail in the coffin, well, 2 times. I thought the final nail in the coffin was Elton. And then we find out that Josh Nijman is actually an animal. And then finally Billy Turner's out. And then I really said, oh, that's the final nail in the coffin. And I'm wrong again. I'll happily be wrong about that every time, every day of the week. But it's absolutely insane, because there's not many. I don't think there's any other team in the league who can sustain that many injuries on their offensive line, yet still protect their greatest asset, the quarterback, and still have success running the football. I can't think of another team that could do that right now.
Games are won in the trenches.
Thank you, John Madden. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I think that was that's true. There were multiple instances. I mean, even when, the Bakhtiari, I know people were talking about in the summer, like, David Bakhtiari might be ready by the season opener. That's what a load of shit that was.
There was no way.
Yeah, that would have been ridiculous.
He's a large dude with a knee injury. You don't come
exactly.
back that fast.
And that's another thing people kind of forget. They're like, oh, it's been a year already. He must have had some crazy setbacks. And no, motherfucker, he's a big ass human. He's a big ass.
Like, that's a lot
tackle.
On your joints.
It's a lot on your knees. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it took me, I'm not David Bakhtiari's size, but it took me about a year, and I had the same thing. Like, he had to go get it cleaned out because things just aren't working well. And that's like not much of a setback. It's more, a short-term loss for a long-term gain kind of thing. So,
and how do we, sorry, I didn't mean to cut, but how do we know that it wasn't the Packers shutting him down these days at practice? Because they just re-signed him. They just re-signed probably their second greatest asset behind Aaron Rodgers. How do we know necessarily what was going on in practice? Maybe it was Bakhtiari wants to practice. He feels he can go. He admits he's not 100%. But again, we don't know anything. We're not there watching practice. And yes, there's all these setbacks, but it could really. Yeah, I know.
Just another Wednesday. Yep. Nothing has changed.
Asshole Andrew, I guess, over here. But
you're right, though. They're protecting their investment.
Yeah, they just re-signed him to another big deal, and left tackle is very important. So we need to have patience. We all want him back. We've wanted him back for a long time now, and we just have to wait it out. Because guess what? Josh Nijman's still playing very well. And right now we don't have much to worry about. It's not that he hasn't played against great talent. He's played against tremendous talent so far. And we just got to wait and see.
And that's the thing too. You have Josh Nijman playing so damn well, so it's probably giving them like a little like hesitation. Like, okay, let's let David do what he needs to do and kind of navigate his way through his recovery. And when he's back on the field, he's 100%. Chris, come on, I'm not going to do that. That'd be so unnecessary. All right, so before we continue on here,
Zach just wants to bypass that one super quickly.
I didn't even fucking see it. I'm like,
it's like, nope, not even looking at the bottom of the screen.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so is this what you wanted me to acknowledge? Is this it?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. Mr.
like
Greg Jennings, #1 fan.
Yeah, I'd like you to acknowledge Greg Jennings whining like a little baby about him and Aaron not texting.
I would like you to acknowledge your new name. Look, Jennings is a dick for that. I'm not a fan of post-career Jennings. I've made that so goddamn clear by now. I mean, come on. It's like he says shit like that. He says shit like that, and it's like, I wonder why he doesn't want to talk to you. Are you kidding me? All right, I need to do this goddamn ad read. Okay, we have like 10 minutes left. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about Greg Jennings.
10 minutes left.
Andrew, did you change your name?
Yeah. Did you change your name? Yeah, I changed my name.
Self-proclaimed nice guy. Nice
Jacob's
guy.
gonna log in here and definitely delete that.
I'm surprised Jacob has not come in yet and said, "Get Andrew the hell off
him
my
off the
screen."
screen.
I don't know where he is. Maybe that's what. Maybe he's not watching because he knew I was going to be on. Maybe that's why.
More than likely.
It's
Well, I
even
called
worse, but
when I left at the beginning. I for some reason the login wasn't saved on my computer, so I had to call Jacob within like 20 seconds, and he answered, and he actually told Andrew to go fuck himself. I'm just kidding. He didn't say any of that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this show, Open Book, what you are currently watching on your screens, whether it be on your phone, tablet, computer, Facebook, whatever, it doesn't matter. This show is brought to you by Artec Ventures. The goal at Artec Ventures is to collaborate closely with founders throughout all the investment and fundraising stages, turning their visions into successful companies. Since 2020, Artec Ventures has helped turn great ideas into profitable businesses that make an impact on industries, communities, and beyond.
Zach, you know what I want to see? I want to see you.
I don't know if I want to know.
I want to see you on Good Morning Football doing angry runs and not Kyle Brandt. That's what I want to see.
I would. I might need a little more practice for that.
I don't know, you're starting to ad-lib these ads a little bit more, so
Yeah, you're getting
into
comfortable with it.
It comes with when you do it every single week, then eventually you find that rhythm. You know what I mean?
That's why-
there's
and
gonna be
that's
a
why
week where
when-
I'm gonna have to read it and I'm gonna be like, Artec Ventures is brought to
Well, and that's the whole thing. You know, what was it, Chris? Or they're like, "Oh, I want Andrew to read it." I'm like, "No," because I'm gonna sound like the Artec Ventures is. I'll just go. I'll literally go like those goddamn commercials. Or oh shit, we have 5 minutes and we
like
have
it's like a
all
scroll,
these
like really
words.
fast
Yeah,
scrolling.
Yeah, exactly.
like when it's like the symptoms on a medication, like trying to get through it really fast so people don't know.
We're not responsible for symptoms, but there's side effects. Blah, 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 blah. Andrew, I think you would be fine. I think you would be too, Jen. As long as you have to feel it. You have to feel it inside of you, in your body. You have to get that warm, kind of fuzzy feeling.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, folks, we have 8 minutes left. I feel like we need to talk.
8 minutes left. We can let it
Andrew,
stretch out a little bit.
I'm running this goddamn thing. I'm in the fucking driver's seat right now. Okay.
Very true.
Wow.
I have been known to be a backseat driver though, so
That's okay. My dad is the same way. Okay. I think we need to talk about the Vikings game because we haven't even touched on that like at all yet. They beat the Vikings 37-10. I actually predicted that they would beat the Vikings 37-10. So,
Did you?
no,
Like on the show? Oh.
no.
I was gonna say I
believe
guess I
you.
have to go back and listen to last week's show again.
That's why I stopped myself. I was like, shit, they have that on record. I can't let
I
that
didn't know.
happen.
Maybe you like went on somebody else's.
No one
Whatever,
wants
because
me.
I know you did
No one-
some shows. So
No one likes me. So they beat the Vikings 37-10, and it looked a little troubling at the beginning. They couldn't sustain drives. They were going 3 and out. I think there was a play that didn't convert. They got a turnover on downs. I mean, they couldn't really like sustain drives. They were moving the ball. They were running the ball well. Aaron Rodgers was kind of finding a rhythm. He hit that deep ball to Devontae Adams on one of the first few plays of the game, but they couldn't finish. And it seemed like the Vikings were actually going to stay in the game, with Sean Mannion kind of just taking some of the easy stuff underneath. They couldn't get the running game going, but I mean, the beginning of the game was a little bit troubling, but the Packers eventually pulled away.
yeah.
Someone take the reins.
I didn't know if you were
Come
done
on.
with your.
I'm done. What are you
Your
going to
thought.
stare at you? You think I'm just going to sit here and stare at you? I need you guys to give me feedback. Tell me how you felt about the game. Tell me what you were experiencing, what emotions you felt, what was palpable. I want to
Take it
know.
away, Jen. Take it away,
Yeah,
Jen.
Jen,
I
please
mean,
take it away.
Well, I mean, like I build up rivalry week so much because it's obviously really important to me, not just that the Packers beat the Vikings, but that the Packers beat the Vikings because I don't want to have to go into work the next day and deal with it or like whatever out in public. So yeah, it was a really slow start. I mean, both sides, just a lot of punting and, it was what it was, field goals and stuff like that, and moments that you thought maybe they could have scored, red zone offense kind of looked like it was earlier this season, but they got the ball rolling, and this offense just, it felt like a really slow game. Like there was a lot actually happening, but everything just felt slow. And this was like the first game that I could like sit back in my chair and just enjoy it. Like I wasn't on the edge of my seat ever. I think the only time I was upset was with the snap on Mason Crosby's field goal and then the muff punt. Like those are the only two things that genuinely concerned or upset me. But this game just felt like I expected it to be a lot closer, but they basically removed Dalvin Cook from the game. And I mean, Mike Zimmer also removed Dalvin Cook from the game by not running him as much as they should have. But to hold him to 13 yards was extremely impressive. And I mean, yeah, there was really no up or down in this game. It was just very calm, cool, collective. Go out there, get your win, get your number 1 seed, and send the Vikings home. And that's basically what they did.
Yeah, like what Jen said, it was a slow start, and I didn't get to watch a whole lot of the beginning. I was able to watch a little bit of the beginning, and then my work schedule is so screwed up. So I come in on Sunday nights at work. I come in around 9-ish, 9:30, because I work a morning show at a news station. So that's that crappy schedule. But I got to watch it work, and I was so glad to see that it looked like the Packers finally had a team where they wanted them, and they just grabbed them by the goddamn jugular and just said, "You're coming along for the ride, and we're going to kick the shit out of you." The Vikings scored that one touchdown, and I'll say I was surprised that they were only held to 10 points. I thought it was not that I thought it was going to be like, oh, they're going to score all these points, because Sean Mannion is not. I knew what Sean Mannion was, not very good.
0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, and the defense made him pretty much look like that. And I was glad that, the whole week leading up to the game, they were talking, so many people had been talking about, even you guys on last week's show were talking about, we want to watch them finally just beat the shit out of somebody. And they finally did that. And it was great to watch. And it was just satisfying. Devontae had a pretty decent game. Lazard had another great game. He was playing with the utmost confidence that I had seen him play this whole season. And for Aaron Rodgers to just lob you up a ball and just say, "Hey, go get it."
With Anthony Barr directly in his face.
Yeah, exactly. Granted, it's a linebacker, but Anthony Barr is not, that's not a linebacker to scoff at in coverage. And it was just awesome that they got it done, and they probably knew at some point during that game that if we win, we have the top seed locked up. So maybe that was some of that, a little more motivation to just, we gotta finish this out. But it was, and LaFleur said in his press conference, this was the one game that it seemed where we played the most complete game in all 3 phases. And when I listened to that, I said, absolutely. The special teams looked great. Defense looked pretty damn good. And obviously the offense after that first quarter looked like they were firing on all 4 cylinders. So.
Yeah. You know what? I think going back to that Allen Lazard play, I mean, it says so much when Aaron Rodgers of all people, I mean, I tweeted this, so I don't want to like rip, be unoriginal or anything, but it says everything in the world when Aaron Rodgers of all people, as particular he is about trusting certain receivers and putting the ball in certain spots for certain guys, when he lobs one up for Allen Lazard, I mean, that tells you all the trust he has in this guy, which is crazy because, he was a rookie in 2018, I think, but 2019 when he got that first shot against the Lions, his opponent for this week. And, he has just been ascending ever since, little by little. He's been phenomenal. And really ever since kind of the bye week, I mean, he has been just on a tear. I don't have the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I know I looked them up and everything. But yeah, he has been just an actual difference maker, which is what you want out of your number 2 wide receiver. That doesn't mean Alan Lazard is. I mean, Marquez Valdez-Scantling is completely phased out of the lineup. But I mean, when the opportunities come to you, Alan Lazard, he's making the most of them. And this was the week where we saw the Packers finally just slap the ever-loving shit out of somebody. I mean, when you have the Vikings, who, you know, they're starting Sean Mannion, there's no Kirk Cousins, you're supposed to beat up on these teams. I know people use it as like a way to discredit the Packers, like, oh, they beat the Vikings without Kirk Cousins at home in the cold, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, like, they didn't struggle. That's the thing. You're supposed to beat these teams when there's such a heavy mismatch. Yeah, you're supposed to go in there and you're supposed to completely just dominate them. You're supposed to just smack them up like an unwanted stepchild or something. So that's went from making all the plays that don't show on a stat sheet to stuffing the stat sheet. Yeah, it's
a tongue twister.
I know, Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ,
yeah,
man.
no kidding.
Setting us up for
But
failure.
I didn't try and read that.
Went from making all the plays that don't show up on a stat sheet to stuffing the stat sheet. Okay, it gets tricky around
There you
the end.
go.
That's, but it's true, and that's the thing too. He's stuffing the stat sheet, in Ben's words, and he's still making the plays that don't show up on a stat sheet. He's still doing the gritty blocking, and he's just such a valuable part of this offense that I think a lot of people kind of don't appreciate. But that jump ball really said everything.
Speaking of plays that don't show up on the stat sheet, can I just, while I'm on the show, the last few weeks, St. Brown has made some excellent blocking plays. Can I just add that? Like I think I've been a believer in him for a little while. I mean, a little biased, yes. I'm always a Badger fan over Notre Dame. So when Notre Dame beat the Badgers, I was pissed. But I loved him in the draft, and I loved where the Packers picked him, and I wanted him to play so well. And this year, I think he is really playing some of his best ball, because he's blocking, and he's even making some plays in the pass game. But again, this is totally unrelated to Alan Lazard. But in terms of Ben saying, you know, the plays that don't show up on the stat sheet, St. Brown's starting to make some of those too, which has been really, really nice to see, considering, you know, no Randall Cobb, and, you know, Amari Rodgers hasn't quite found his way, but I feel like that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, considering he's in year one. So, and
we do get the brother matchup this upcoming week with Amon-Ra
Amon-Ra.
and Q. So,
and eventually we'll get Osiris in the mix. Eventually, he's their youngest.
Oh
brother?
yeah.
Can't remember where he plays, but yeah, that whole family is just like freaks of nature, just athletic freaks. Like,
and
they're
freaks of names.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
I'm sorry. I've had some anchors at my station when I type up in scripts like Equanimous, and they always ask me every time, they're like, Andrew, how do I say this? I have to say it like 3 times, like, yes, sorry, it's a very long name, but this
I think my sister, because I was at my sister and brother-in-law's for the game, and that was a fun game to watch with a Vikings fan. They actually joined me and watched, and you know, he was just miserable. I mean, he's like laughing at, what was it, Chris Collinsworth, like, free Sean Mannion or whatever, and it's just like, it was comical for Vikings fans at that point. But she kept saying she thought it was Equiminius. So she kept saying, she's like, I don't even know how to say it. So I had to like pull up the name and show her like N before M. And yeah, so I was like, just call him EQ. It's just so much easier.
It's kind of like with like Giannis Antetokounmpo, like, you know, nobody knows how to, I mean, people don't want to say his name now, but
Can you say that name again?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
I've been watching him long enough to where I've looked at his name plenty. Like his rookie year, I was like, how the fuck do you say that? I was like, well, who the fuck is this guy? How the hell do you say his name?
early on in his career, I was calling him Giannis. So
well, you are also the Jameis Winston.
No,
Shut
up. That never happened. That didn't happen. Oh, okay. So before we finish, and yes, Erica, this is purple. Before we get into the last part of this.
Oh, so my Mike Florio mug gets made fun of, but you can drink your purple.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't throw
Powerade,
your whiskey
okay.
in there, you psychopath.
I didn't feel like drinking tonight. Electrolytes are important. Okay, I preach this all the time.
Electrolytes with alcohol, though,
I've never done that before in my life. I don't know what you're talking about.
evens it out, right? No,
Who was it? It was Tom Crabtree that said like, oh, it's or no, it was shit. Who was it? Was it Matt Ramage or Tom Crabtree? They said that it helps prevent the hangover. You're getting
probably both of them.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
You're getting ahead of the hangover that feels inevitable. And yeah, you know what? As a matter of fact, I am a goddamn trendsetter. Gatorade tequila. See, I'm not crazy. I'm not
Gatorade
crazy.
and tequila. What? I've never had that.
Yeah.
I've had it like tequila and Jarritos, and even that is kind of like
that sounds delicious.
It was good, but I also was having Jose Gold with it, which just completely ruined it. It's like, ugh. Okay, man, that's college black eyes essentially. That's what that is.
I guess only cultured people understand Gatorade and tequila or Gatorade and whiskey, but it's fine. I get it.
All right.
Well, it's Powerade,
Maybe I'll come around to it.
It's the same goddamn thing. All right, look.
We have one more important thing to talk about.
Yes, before we get
we're
into
already
the show.
6 minutes over.
Yeah, well, like Andrew said, hey, screw it.
We'll go over
45-minute show.
Okay, we need to at least, I mean, we're not going to go balls deep into this thing, but we need to at least touch on the whole MVP fiasco thing going on with Hub Architect, whatever the hell his name is.
Hub,
yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, someone kicked this thing off, man, because I mean, we know how I feel about it. I have not tweeted about it or anything, but I mean, I quoted that stupid thing that stupid show that he was on, and I said, no, not a damn soul is going to click that link. No one's going to listen to your bullshit reasoning. Your bullshit reasoning, Jen.
Well, you said somebody kicked this off, and then you wouldn't stop talking.
Yeah, well, maybe I had something to say. Your bullshit reasoning about why you think Aaron Rodgers doesn't deserve an MVP award. Which, look, if you don't think he deserves the MVP for on the field reasons, like maybe you think Tom Brady's been better. Which, I mean, that's a whole other thing. I'm not going to argue that. Or you think Cooper Kupp deserves it if he gets the 136 yards he needs this Sunday to break that record. Or if you think it should go to Jonathan Taylor. I don't give a shit. As long as you are coming to these conclusions purely based off of what they do on the field, not off of it. I think Aaron Rodgers is a complete idiot for the comments that he made about, the vaccinations and this and that, and being, advising with Joe Rogan of all people for medical advice. Yeah, I think he's an idiot for that whole fiasco that went down. But that doesn't stray me from appreciating what he's done on the football field. And that's not just because of where the fandom lies. I love good quarterback play. I've said so many times that Brett Favre in 2009 is like one of my favorite quarterback seasons ever when he was with the Vikings, because he was incredible. As much as I hate to admit it, he was incredible. Came to Lambeau twice and smacked up the Packers. So if you are just so emotional to the point where it's like, oh, he's such a jerk. Oh, my feelings are hurt. Oh, and he kept his team hostage and treated them like shit. Like, you're such a goddamn dweeb. And I know obviously he's watching this. Absolutely, I'm sure.
Right.
But yeah, that's where I pretty much stand. I pretty much stand on the same side as everybody else, and I'm assuming you too as well. So this isn't like some crazy like, oh my god, he's enraged, he's going off the deep end. No,
it's not anybody's like, finally someone spoke up about this.
Yeah,
like,
wow.
I haven't seen anybody actually like siding with him. He's just getting absolutely roasted by Twitter, by Rodgers, which rightfully so. Rodgers has the right to go into his presser and just destroy that bum that he called him,
Yeah.
Which,
what did he say, by the way, Jen?
He's a bum.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I wanted that to be out there.
Emphasized.
Yeah.
We need
He's
that
a bum.
repeated.
And it's true. Like he said, this is a guy who has never interviewed him, never sat down and talked to him, basically just going off of what he's reading, as a Bears fan, reading things. And it's like, first of all, we don't know the conversations, like every conversation he was having in the off season. It's not like his teammates didn't know what was going on. Like, let's be honest, some of his best friends play for this team. They knew what was happening. It's like, I don't understand how somebody who's so petty gets a say in MVP. And it's like, then we need to have these conversations about Tom Brady, because look at who Tom Brady was letting live in his house with his family and his wife and his children. Like, you know, people do stupid things, but that's not what the MVP award is. If you want to go and vote for an award for the best guy off the field, vote for the Walter Payton Award. Like, you're in the wrong category, dude. Like, I don't know what more to say about it. It's so stupid. And then I didn't even click on his apology link today. You know, it doesn't deserve my click, and it just sounded very just like, oh, I have to get something out there kind of thing. And it kind of reminded me, you know, Rodgers saying nobody knew who you were until you basically spewed my name out, which I didn't. I've never heard of this guy until yesterday.
Me either.
And it kind of reminded me of like when Rodgers clapped back, it reminded me of like the MGK Eminem thing where, you know,
Kill shot.
Yeah, people only know who this guy is because of Rodgers, and then Rodgers goes out and roasts him, and now, you know, there goes his career basically. So he's gonna switch genres and start writing about like politics or something, because I don't know what.
Is that Cole?
Oh, look who's here!
Is that? I was like,
wow,
is that actually him?
No, I don't believe it.
After you guys called him out.
Yeah.
For being a dud
he
fan.
completely forgot about the fantasy league. Completely forgot we exist. Completely forgot about group chats. Whatever.
The
Screw
open
you,
book bum.
Yeah, and to go off of what Jen just said, I'm so glad you brought up Walter Payton Man of the Year award, because I was literally at work today talking with one of the other guys about it, and I brought that up. I said, you know what? Like, this ain't the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. This is the goddamn MVP award. It is not about their off the field contributions. It is all solely based on field contributions. And I also added that, you know, it is bad when even Florio is talking bad about you. Already know that is when that Florio you are in the wrong. When Florio is defending anybody that wears the green and gold, you know it is bad. So I'm so glad at how Rodgers responded. Honestly, I didn't even realize that he responded that way in his presser. I thought it was like with Pat McAfee or something, because I've been a little bit out of the loop like the last.
No, it was Matt Schneiderman's question.
Yeah, I didn't even realize
like
it was
he
his
was ready
until
for
later.
It.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that until I started to find like people posting the presser, and I was like, holy shit, this is golden. So I love it. I love the response. I said before the show, I think we all said, yeah, like, who the fuck is this guy? I didn't even remember his name, and I knew it was a weird name, and you were all Hub, and I said, who names their kid Hub? They must have really hated that they were having a child at the time to name him Hub. But
well, and I clicked his Twitter link. His header is a picture of Aaron Jones.
Yeah, that's what confused me.
I thought was so bizarre. So I don't know. This dude
very jarring.
Enjoy your 15 minutes of fame. Nobody will ever take anything you say seriously again, except for the delusional Bears fans. So good luck to you going forward.
And it sucks too, because then it almost makes the AP look bad. It almost makes the AP look bad that you give this guy this, like, you give him an opportunity to have a vote, have a say in who has the MVP. And he's literally bringing up things that are totally irrelevant to what's on the field. Meanwhile, there is thousands of other people. There is thousands of other people. There's plenty of other people who work for ESPN, other conglomerates, other writers who are very good at their jobs, who don't have a say. And then here's this guy talking about it, and he's something completely irrelevant to what he has done and what he has meant to in this season right now, the success of the Packers. And it was just absolutely ridiculous what he had to say.
Seeing Florio defend him was like that. It was like that meme, you know, when the worst person you know makes a great point.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. Basically. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say. Sorry.
Like 2022 is already off to a weird start. We're agreeing with things Florio's saying, and I don't know, things just need to get back into balance.
I concur. All right. I think even everyone on the score out of Chicago was against Hub. Yeah. I mean, when you have literally people in Chicago, which is where you are, he previously covered the Bears. I don't know if he still does, but he used to cover the Bears. Actually, he does. He still covers the Bears. When you have your goddamn colleagues like disagreeing with you, then like, you know, just lay down the arms, keep your half-assed apology. Nobody wants to hear it. You dug yourself into this hole. and now you're gonna lay
There's like
there.
some conspiracy that goes with this. Like somebody paid this guy off to just say something stupid so we could have all this drama right before
I don't know
playoffs.
anymore. I don't know. There are a lot of stupid people out there that probably think a very stupid way, and I think he is one of them. He is one of the stupid ones.
He's just stupid.
All right.
That's Zach's hard hitting analysis. He's just stupid.
He's
yeah,
just
this
stupid.
is what you come on the show for. This is what I bring to the table.
Hey, sometimes people just appreciate the bluntness. That's
I think with something like this, you have to be kind of blunt. That's like honestly.
I mean, if he's gonna be as blunt as he was, then
I've been trying to end the show 4 goddamn times. I'm gonna end the show now. Okay, we are over an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Open Book this week. It was a pleasure to sit here for an hour with you guys, as it is every single Wednesday. We love you guys, and if you would like to follow us on Twitter, then Andrew, please throw up our handles. No, yours first. Nobody wants to follow me, man.
Dude, you're the one talking.
Oh my God. All right. You can follow me on Twitter. It's Zachariah J. That's me right there. You can follow Jen on Twitter at BigMac_4. And you can follow Andrew on Twitter at Mertens_Andrew.
I'm like the odd one out here.
We have one thing we have to do that we need to throw up before our merch. Our new merch that dropped.
Yes.
We have new merchandise, ladies and gentlemen. Where is it? Andrew, please. I'm begging you, please.
I was trying to work on it before the show to make sure it was working. And here, hold on one second. Okay, no, it's gonna take too long. We're gonna have to post the link. We got to post the link, guys. Please grab the merch. We promise it looks sick as hell. I don't know. I'm sure we've all shared it on Twitter. Really, it looks awesome. I put it on my Snapchat, and I had a bunch of friends like, dude, that's so cool. I'll have to buy one. I'm like, yes, go buy one right now. So
Dakota knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, seriously, it is some awesome stuff. Please, everybody, go to this link right here, and you will not be disappointed. I just bought merch from there last week. I bought one of his Ja Island shirts and one of our original shirts. So he's making me go broke.
Yeah, when you go to Dakota with an idea, he exceeds expectations.
Yes.
Like I had this idea and he just made it look so much cooler than I could have ever envisioned. So kudos to him for making us look good, and definitely go support our show, buy our merch, support Dakota that way. And yeah, now we can wrap up Zach.
That dude is gifted.
For the fifth time, right?
Yeah, we're on number 5 now. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I think that is it. And stick around we're running the Freezer advertisement.
Yes. You can watch the Freezer pod at, I believe it's 7:00 on Mondays.
What you think, Fred? All right.
Fred.
Like, dude, you're an idiot.
I'm doing very well, Jen. It's just gonna be me and you, or Eli and Zach gonna pop in.
Yeah, they'll talk every once in a while.
Every now and then we'll kind of.
He was already right away.
It kind of we're used to you attacking us, so
Yeah.
Sorry.
look at
Let's just put it this way. Who do you see as the quarterback week 1 for the Green Bay Packers?